Welcome, welcome one and all to another Monday night 6-scale symposium. I am the Jedi here with my friends, and we are going to be, there's a lot to talk about. So typically we've been doing just the Wednesday show, but hey, I was like, we got to get back on. We got to talk about Brick's huge release of Wanda, Scarlet Witch. He's been anxiously waiting and holding back all of his frustration. So now he's good to go. Inart has given us some photos for the Harry Potter figure that's going to be coming. So there's a lot to talk about there too. I think there's a lot to unpack, and then maybe a couple other things. But if you guys are in the chat, feel free to drop a hello if you have any questions or anything you want to talk about. Love to hear from you. This is the show where you guys, get your voices heard. So before I check in with you guys, though, out there, I want to introduce the panel. In the upper right, we have Brick Artemis, who was supposed to be with us last week. Some technical difficulties, so he got his internet fixed. What is going on, my friend?
Nothing much. Glad I could get on today. Had the internet guy come out Saturday night and fixed everything up. Got a new modem, so I was able to make it today. Really excited for Wanda.
Brick, are you still there?
No, don't do that.
Are you still there?
Don't.
I think we lost Brick, guys.
His lips are moving, but I can't hear anything.
I think we lost him. All right, so next. I'm just kidding, Brick.
Trying to play along to kind of like turn the table,
Right.
But yeah,
well, thank you for being here.
I'm here. It's very
awesome
for you. Really excited.
Yeah. All right. Well, now since DLO's in the upper right, we have DLO The Collector, the YouTube sensation himself. What's going on, my friend?
I introduce myself like that all the time, actually. No, thank you. What's up, buddy? Brick, nice to finally see ya.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, it's all clear and stuff. And Optical, very nice to meet you. First time I think I've had the pleasure of meeting you here. So thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, Optical is the man, the myth, the legend. Optical 20. From the Midwest. It's hard to find these Midwest guys just like Brick and myself. So always good to have you in Central Time Zone. And thank you for making the time to just kind of hang out with us, talk figures.
Oh, thank you, man. And nice meeting this good gentleman right above me and right next to me. It's going to be a fun night. I know it's not a whole lot of news in here, but it's going to be fun. Sure.
I saw your video that you got Cyborg. Are you overall, how are you feeling about that figure? Is it living up to the hype? Is it something that you're really happy you got?
I guess I'm a little biased here because I've been waiting for that guy forever. I think I completed the line. I don't know when it completed, honestly, but it felt like forever. And I was okay with not having him. And then finally being announced, and he might not be that good of a figure. I don't know, but it feels like he's so good. Just like
he looks nice.
Yeah, it feels like the head sculpt is the easiest transition I've made in my entire life because the head sculpt is just spot on. So, but it's good. I don't know if it's worth $320 to anyone, but I would say it's the best $320 that I've spent lately. So,
well, and just to like finally fully put a close on that chapter, on that line, be able to complete it. It's got to feel nice.
I believe that's how people felt when Drax was released.
Right.
Although Drax is like objectively not a very good figure, but it felt good, I'm sure, to those who was like waiting. It was like, oh, finally, But
right.
Objectively, I don't know. Maybe Cyborg is a lot better figure compared to Drax. So,
right. Well, DLO, I know you were talking about picking him up. Did you pull the trigger on that or not quite?
Did not. I'm still bringing him home. I just kind of gave myself a quick pep talk and said, like, you don't need to spend extra money. You don't need to spend extra money. So I'll wait till it gets closer to stateside and, pick my place or where I want to grab it from. But yeah, rest assured, Cyborg is definitely coming home.
Unreal.
Unreal. No, I get it. I was actually close to pulling the trigger on Wanda today for Hot Toys buying agent, but because I got 2 figures incoming this week already, it just not going to happen. So speaking of Wanda, we're going to talk about her, but let's just check in with the chat, see what is going on here. We have Austin Nicholas in the house. He's waiting. He's being a smart ass, but hey, we love him. So it's always good to have him in the chat. We got Jazzy. Hey, my friend, what's going on? He says, what up? Time to chill. That's what we're doing here. We're relaxing, keeping it low key. And yeah, we're chilling out. We got Doc Bat. Good to see you all. Good to see you. AZ Figs. Hello there. Nick Bachman. Hey, what's going on? Nichols. Pablo. Hi, guys. Hi, Pablo. We got Reynaldo. Hi, Jedi. Appreciate your reviews on Module cases. Thank you very much. I enjoy doing them. I really like the Module cases and everything that you can do with them. So I've been thinking about actually getting the risers eventually, like those 4-inch risers. So I haven't seen any reviews on those on YouTube. So maybe this year that'll be my next purchase, getting the risers and then being able to do a video on those, you know, if they're worth picking up and maybe just how to put them together. And I do need, DLO, I need another back half shelf. I got 3 when I should have gotten 4, so I might have to talk to Brian about getting a 4th one there. Sucks.
Rookie moves, Jetty.
Well, yeah, you know, that is what it is. I tell you, I'm like a dog chasing his tail when it comes to collecting Hot Toys and everything included. Like,
Terrible.
you think you got this plan, and then the plan falls through, and you change your mind, and just feel like you're going circles and circles and buying back stuff you sold 2 years ago, and it's crazy.
Sounds like Hot Toys collecting to me.
Yep.
We got Darth Reese in the house. Thank you for joining the show. I do appreciate it. Pablo says, Optical, I know you like accessories. Are you getting Young Rich Nightmare set for Cyborg? And he said, probably not. Haven't seen it. Well, there you go. Brick in the house. We got Figman. Great show coming tonight. Yes, I hope so, because you guys out there are the ones that make it great. So keep that chat rolling. And yeah, we're going to have a good time tonight together. Brick, I mentioned you in the current video I'm editing for YouTube. Well, you know, where's our where's our little mention?
Let's go. You must be building a Lego. What'd you get?
So Optical, Brick is he's the Lego guy, but he's being converted. So he's
I don't know which one is more expensive. Probably Lego, right?
I feel like it ends up being more expensive. Yeah, because you're trying. They come out with so many releases each month that you're trying to catch up. So yeah, and I mean there are sets that are like 500. I won't get too into it, but it gets crazy.
I will ask though, is there a resale? Because in Hot Toys there is. You know, is there any resale when it comes to Lego?
Oh yeah, there is. So there's a lot of investing in it too. A lot of people will buy sets, and after it retires, it skyrockets in price for a lot of sets. Not every set, but a lot. And then if you do, you know, break it out of the box and you build it, you can resell it, because I guess some people don't like the building aspect, so they just get the model that you built. But it goes down in price if it's open.
Oh,
yeah.
He's got the Titanic Optical. He's got to build that yet. It's like 4 feet long.
That small Jack and Rose in there. My God.
No, but come with the band.
No, no, but I plan on making the band, so we'll see what happens.
But Brick, how many Hot Toys do you have now? You've been collecting since beginning of this year, and you're like 8 or 10.
I tried a couple years ago, and then I sold you my upgraded suit, and now I'm back into like really into it. So I got about, if I don't count the pre-orders, about 9 or 10. Yeah.
The dude has won what, 3 raffles in the last like month? 4.
You're not supposed to tell him where I'm getting them, but yeah.
Well, I mean, geez, I know if I would play that, I'd lose every time. But you have the lady luck on your side, so I mean that's awesome too. That's a great way to be able to start. Is
for
getting lucky on some of these raffles. So congrats to you on that. You've gotten some pretty high priced figures as well.
Got a Harley, a Captain America, and then a Falcon,
Fiend.
The new Falcon coming out, and then a Fiend, which is right behind me.
You've done well for yourself, sir.
Oh, thank you.
And the next one that you want to add, I've heard, is this new Scarlet Witch that just dropped last night or early this morning, however you want to look at it. DLO, I want to start with you, since you're on top there. What are your overall thoughts on this figure? Do you like it? Do you think it turned out well? Do you think it was worth the wait? And would you see yourself getting this?
Well, I think, to be honest with you, it turned out really well. I got to say, I was pleasantly surprised. I usually get worried when figures tend to be delayed for longer than our typical wait times. You know, a la, you think of stuff like maybe Loki from Endgame, where people kind of split down the middle. It was a long waited figure. It kind of fumbled at the end for some people. And this one stayed pretty, I got to say, it stayed pretty similar to what the prototype looked like as far as the photos concerned, stuff like that. I don't feel like there was very much difference in between there. Maybe a little bit lighter as far as the paint apps are concerned. Not, I wouldn't say too far, but just enough to notice a smidge. But overall, I mean, if this was a figure that you were interested in 2 years ago, I think you're going to be pleasantly happy to see that it's pretty much exactly the same figure. Obviously, there's some pluses and minuses with every figure here. I do appreciate the new sculpt of hair for Scarlet Witch now, but I think obviously the big, the monkey in the room is the fact that what's going on with those shoulders and up over there. That's a little rough. It's a little rough without the cape on, and I think that's probably what a lot of people are wondering right now how they feel about that. I'm kind of torn. I think it looks great. I would love to have the option to have it like displayed with both options, but I feel more confident with the cape on than with off because I think it's too distracting for me. But overall, I think it's a great figure. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up yet. I want to wait and see how the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness version comes out first before I make my decision. I think this will be around long enough for me to make that choice. But until then, I think this is an exceptional piece.
So you mentioned the obviously here we have the joints that are exposed, optical. Do you have any thoughts on and DLO and Brick and I were actually talking earlier today, like I was kind of like, it's kind of unforgivable that they didn't do a seamless body. Like I know the original photos showed that it wasn't going to be, but I think people maybe thought that the long wait was maybe because they were tweaking some of it, maybe doing a seamless body. I know you can do the look where you can hide this, but in order to do something like this, do you have any thoughts on, like, I guess what are your feelings on the exposed joints if you want to have it look like this? Do you think it just kind of really takes away from the figure? Are you okay with it? Because it is going to help, obviously, articulation. But what are your thoughts on kind of those exposed shoulders there?
I totally get the reservation for this, but I'm more of a photographer than a displayer. And having joints like this, that's called healing tool, and it's gone.
True.
So as far as I Hot Toys is different for me now. It's like a tool for my photography more than a display. So for this, if I'm going to display it, I'm probably going to put the cape on. If not, because there's plus positive in mind, negative when you don't have, because we do have that, right? With Wonder Woman, you can't raise the hand. So it is a give and take here. I'd rather be able to post my figure than have her have her hand on her side forever. Because even if you put this, let's say, and the seams are not outrageous that you can see the ball joints, and like sometimes when you lift the arms you see the mechanism inside. I haven't seen a picture. What maybe they're just doing a great job, but it seems like the gap is so small that to me it's forgivable. That I would rather, me personally, I'd rather have this, and this is Wanda, the expressive hands, you want to pose her with her hands and above her head and stuff like that. I'd rather have that option than have her with a seamless arm and all she could do is put her hands on the side or arms forward. And then even if you leave it arms forward, she has to put it down, because if you don't, that rubber's going to deteriorate. So I guess it's a good compromise. Is there any solution to that? Outside of a replaceable torso, there's really none. So for me, like this, I mean, I'll display her like this, but for me, I'd rather choose the posability than the aesthetics in this case.
Interesting. And is this something that you're going to pick up right away, or you're going to wait for this to see if it goes on sale?
Oh no, it's just definitely going on sale. Like the other ones, right? Like they're not delayed because they're perfecting it. They're delayed because no one pre-ordered them, and because no one pre-ordered them, they're in the back of the queue. And now knowing that there's 2 other Scarlet Witch, the deluxe version and the non-deluxe outside of this is definitely going, like it's going to be 25% off soon, kind of like Vision. I'm assuming at around Christmas time we'll see this 25%. As soon as the other one hits, this is going to be still in stock. And guess what, if you miss this, it's not the end of the world, because you have another option for the so if this is not on top of your wish list, I would say it was like, oh man, I gotta have it. If you wait, I think you're gonna get like a good deal out of it. So, but yeah, no, I'll probably get this next year, but I will get one because I don't have a Wanda in my collection. So
great points there. Before I get to you, Rob, DLO, I just want to check in with you. Do you think which one do you think is the more desirable one? Do you think this one is the more desirable one, or the Strange 2 one that's coming out, or do you think it's just going to be kind of a horse apiece? They're both going to kind of sit.
I don't know. I think it's a bit of a mixed bag there. I mean, I remember how excited everybody was to have this one announced because there were so many people who missed out on the Civil War version that was so desirable, and it's very expensive on the secondary market. So when this came out, immediately, like, the reception was extremely positive. But I just remember when the Multiverse of Madness version was announced, it felt like it sucked the oxygen out of the room for collectors, where it's just like, which one do I go with here? So, I mean, for me, I kind of agree with Brick said a little bit earlier when we were talking about it, as far as like, there's things that I like about the Multiverse of Madness version that I prefer more. And then there's parts of the WandaVision version that I like as well too. I don't think either one is a perfect choice by any means. I think there's pros and cons to both of them there. But me personally, from an aesthetic standpoint, because I'm a bit different than you, I really need it to look as like al dente as possible for me, But I mean, to each other, I mean, if I had your photography skills, I probably would just say the exact thing there. But I have a Polaroid camera, so I just want it to look really pretty. So I hope the Multiverse of Madness one is going to give this one a run for its money. But deep down, I think at some point I'm probably going to get both. But I would probably agree with Optical that they're going to be discounted, and I think you're going to have your choice of one, especially if there's 2 SKUs for this one, plus the Multiverse of Madness one, as well as an option. That's basically 3 that are going to be in the market at some point simultaneously. And it's just going to be a matter of which one, after everybody else has it, are you going to be happy with? Because I think that's what a lot of collectors are waiting for, to see in-hand impressions from both figures to make the decision. I think that's where everybody is right now, because there's no point in rushing to get any of them, as far as I'm concerned.
Brick, you've had 2 years of torment, of anticipation, of wondering, why is Hot Toys doing this to you? A new collector that put all his money in this figure, like waiting for it. You did the payment plans, and you had it all set up, and Hot Toys just keeps making you wait and wait and wait. So now that she's released, how do you feel? What do you think about her? Are you still happy with the fact that you purchased her? What's going on in your head?
I'm really happy that I purchased her. I understand that she's probably going to go on sale shortly, like Optical said, 20-25% off by Christmas. I want her now, though. WandaVision was one of my favorite Disney Plus shows that they've done so far. Scarlet Witch is one of my favorite characters from the MCU. And, as a new Hot Toys collector, I did not get the Civil War, Hot Toy or any Scarlet Witch figure. So this was huge for me. I thought her head sculpt 2 years ago looked amazing, and it's still holding up today from what's being released now. I think it looks great. The shoulders bother me more than I would want them to, but again, I would rather pose her with the cape anyways. And like Optical said, I want her to do like the whole stuff like this, and I don't think you can do that with like stiffer shoulders and what she's doing here, and if I want to move her around more often and not just have her hands to her side, but at the same time, it would have been nice to be able to have the bare shoulders every now and then. That does bother me. I think this head sculpt though is a 9.5 out of 10. I think it looks great. I think it looks better than the Multiverse of Madness head sculpt, at least by what we're seeing right now and pictures. And to me, head sculpt is a huge thing. When I look at your figures, Graham, when I'm over at your place or whatever, I look at the head sculpts. I mean, yeah, I look at the outfits and the way they're posed and everything, but the likability with these figures to the actors is the biggest thing to me. So I'm really excited to get her. Really excited to put her with my Vision that I have, and I think they're going to look great together. I love that crimson red. I will say though that the Multiverse of Madness, if she is going to continue in the MCU, I think that's going to be more her look for the future. But man, I really like this. I love the show, so really looking forward to it.
So being that what Optical said, probably it's going to be on sale, and that's nothing new, these days with a lot of these figures. But being what it is, and you have it pre-ordered, are you okay with your choice? Like, do you think you just like her enough that you just want to get it done? I want the figure. I don't care if it's going to go on sale, or does it bother you a little bit? And she hasn't gone on sale, so we don't know for sure. But does it bother you knowing like it's probably going to be one that might hit the bargain bin?
It does and it doesn't. I mean, it does because, I like the figure so much, so it's more of a personal thing. Like, I like it, it's not selling and it's going down in price pretty quick. And it's basically telling me that I have a piece in my collection that's not really wanted as much or sought after. But the other side of me is like, collect what you love and get it while you can. I might not have been able to get her while she's on sale in the future around Christmas with kids and whatnot. So there's just all these things that you put in the package, and I get to be one of the first to get her. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, personally, if I buy a figure right away, it's because I really want the figure. So I don't necessarily think about or care down the road if it's going to go on discount. I know sometimes it bothers us when it's like a figure we're just kind of picking up to pick up. But if it's like the Batman or if it's a Darth Vader, I could care less if it's going to go on sale later on. I just want it in my collection. But sometimes it does hurt when we pick something up shortly after it comes out, just because it's out and it's the new thing, and then all of a sudden it goes on discount. But I think it's just something this day and age we do have to be kind of prepared for, because that's the game we're playing right now, is things going into the bargain bin. So you guys in the chat, I want to check in with you too, but let me know. I want to know what you think with this figure. What's more important to you in a figure? Is it the articulation and the posability, or is it like the aesthetics? Is it the way that it looks, the realness factor? I'd love to kind of hear what is important to you, because Optical, the articulation is more important. DLO, it's obviously going to be the aesthetics of the figure. I kind of lean towards DLO as well, just because Optical, I'd love to do more photography, but I just don't feel like I have the time to do as much as I want. So for the most part, my stuff sits and I look at it, and that's kind of the extent of it. But I get what you're saying.
I'm also in a different kind of collector, because I've been doing this since 2010. So I don't know if you see my display behind me. So one of my favorite YouTubers is Casey Neistat. And what I like about him is that, I don't know if you've seen his studio, but it's a mess. And my display is not nice, but it's convenient for me, right? So if I want to take a picture, I don't want to open a case, take out all the figures. I want to be able to grab one, because that creativity is gone in a few minutes. So I want to be able to just like this Venom right here. I just want to be able to get this, take a picture, put it back. I guess it's where we're in a different stages, right? I'm past the stage where I want to make it neat and nice, like I want to put like lights in it, and that's cool. That's cool. I'm just not in that anymore. I'm in I look at these guys like a craftsman, like tools, right? Like you have your tools hanging up. Oh, you need, your saw. It's right there. So in my case, because these my buddies are telling me, oh, you got to get Modu Case, and Modu Case is beautiful. But now I got to open it up, make it clean nicely. It's like I'm going to have fingerprints. No, I open shelves, pick it up, take a picture, put it back. No one goes down in this basement anyway but myself. I'm going to make it hard for myself to pick up the figure. For whom, right? Like, so when I stream, people also, man, you got a neat display. I was like, I don't. My display is horrible. I get open shelves, which is, if there's an earthquake, this would fall in their face. But it is what it is. For me, it's all about convenience now, practicality, and same with my stance with WandaVision, because I don't care about display anymore. Like I would take a picture, make her as real as possible, like have this vision in my head, and then put her back, and then forget about her for like 7 months. That's what happened to my Vision. I picked him up, took a picture, and haven't touched him since. And that was $199. God damn it, Vision.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying, and I totally agree. And I think there are different, different types of collectors, but also different types of displayers, right? Like some people are great with the open shelf concept. Yourself, D Knight is a big one, where very simplified, but it looks really nice. We have DTOF collectors, Moducase collectors, whatever the other IKEA ones are. But I like seeing every and all type of collections, and that's actually something that I want to do with you guys in the chat coming up in some of the next shows. Again, a while back we got your pictures of your collections. We kind of just looked at what it looks like, because I want to just admire it, because I'm big on collection tours. So optical, you should probably do another one too. Because like when it's the weekend and my kids are napping, I pretty much just go on YouTube and I'm trying to search for like new Hot Toys collection tours, and I'll just rewatch them because it's relaxing to me. And I like seeing the figures and poses and just how people have them. And I don't care if it's not pretty. I don't like, because people are like, well, I just have them on a table or something. I don't care. I just show us your collection. We just want to admire it, because we're all in the community together. So if you guys, while I'm on it, just send me a picture or two of your collections, because in the next couple of weeks here, I want to get something together with the boys here and just do, if you want your collection admired, I don't care how pretty or neat it is, send it in so that we can kind of talk about it and let you know. We saw some pretty cool ones, DLO. We saw that one with the big Arnold picture.
I remember,
over the TV, and it was really cool. So
that was a while ago. You definitely need to bring that back.
Right.
I'd be happy to do that one with you again.
So, and then Optical can send us his and we can trash it. And no, I'm just kidding.
What a loser.
I swear I've seen DLO's like 10,000 times, but it's
almost there.
Yeah.
But let me just check in here with the chat really quick. We had 40 at one point. We're sitting at 36. Please, guys, do me a big favor. Hit that like button. Just really helps get the video out there. Tells YouTube that you enjoy the content that we're creating right now. Let me just scroll back up, because I know some people have come in. Boba Fettuccini says, hey, what is going on, my friend? The Thor. We got the Thor, just like a woman to make you wait. Greetings, all. Figman says, I'll just keep the cape on. I think that's what I would do as well. Just the nice thing is that we have options, right, guys? You have the option to hide those joints. Mm-hmm. I think it would be a total mistake if they came out with her, minus the cape and just the exposed shoulders. Oh, yeah. I think that would be a problem. But the fact that you can hide it, you have the choice. And like if you're like Optical and you're okay with it and you want to display it like that, you have that right. But if you're not okay with it, you can hide them. So I think that's perfectly acceptable that that you can hide them in that aspect. We got Luis in the house. What a great panel on this stream. Yeah, we are having fun tonight. So yeah, hit that smash that like button for me. Let's see. We got AZ Figs. Charging notices went out on this today to process on the 24th. So she should be coming soon. Brick, you might not have to wait till July.
Oh man, if I can get this figure by my birthday, June 1st, be crazy.
Well, I might be pushing it, but we'll see.
Let me have some hope. Some hope.
I think I have. We got Tremble Dust in the house. Peyton. Hello, Peyton. Thank you for joining the stream. You get the movie canon. Hey, everyone. Evil Sneaker. I believe another fellow Wisconsinite. What's up, everyone? Let's see. Christian. I pre-ordered this 2 years ago. I'm loving it. But those shoulder joints make it look like a 90s Turbo Man figure up there. Definitely going to keep the cape on. Yeah. It would have been cool if they did the seamless body. But, DLO, there's probably going to be repercussions if that were to happen. I mean, I think she's at a pretty good price point. Well, $275. But obviously, if they did the silicone seamless body, I would imagine that price point would be even higher. So, how does that make you feel? Like for the price you're paying, are you okay with kind of what we're getting?
To be honest, I'm kind of desensitized to the price points at this point. Like I haven't been collecting as long as optical, but I've been around long enough to remember what my first hot toy cost me into what they cost today. And obviously the price is a lot higher than when I got in all those years ago. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it's a different time for collecting here than it was when I started or optical started and stuff like that. There, things, you know, don't sell out automatically anymore. Things potentially get discounted far more than they had before. So I think the price point at this point is irrelevant. I think it's just going to be a matter to the collector of, you know, what price are you willing to pick up the figure that you really want nowadays? Sure. And you actually have the choice. Before it was like, no, it's either you do it or you pay secondary market, you know, prices after it sells out and stuff. So, you know, the 270 is irrelevant. I think what you guys said earlier in regards to like, hey, if this is like a figure you absolutely need to have, if this is a character that's important to you, then the price really doesn't matter. And I agree with that too, because there's been tons of examples for me personally where I picked up a figure that I know very well I could probably get it for a discount a couple weeks or months down the road. And sure enough, it was discounted, but I didn't care just because I really wanted the figure. And it was something that at that point, the price didn't matter to me. So it's all irrelevant. And it's relevant all at the same time. I say, if you want it, get it. If you want it, but you don't need it right now, the second, then, you know, you'll get it at a different price and maybe you'll feel better about the figure. Who knows? But yeah, I think it's all depending on the collector at this stage, sure, to be honest with you.
Rob, I want you to read this name and then the comment, please.
He, she, we, big boobs. All right. That was kind of harder than I thought it would be. Getting this one because of the hood. Yeah.
Thank you. I just wanted you to read the name. Thank you
for... like an idiot trying to read it. But I
Thanks for coming in.
He, she, we,
big
boobs. It's an awesome
Nicolas Cage, too, in there.
Yeah.
It's like the face-off thing going on right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the face-off movie and with Nicolas Cage's face just laying on a table or something. Alberto, whichever one my wife wants is the one we'll get since she's the Wanda fan. That's awesome. I wish my wife was a fan of something of these figures so that I could get one. Just on that whim, that'd be pretty cool. Oh, we got Infinity Gauntlet. What's that, Rob?
Only reason I was able to get Black Widow, because my wife likes Black Widow, so I was able to get the snowsuit and black suit.
Yeah. Infinity Gauntlet says I started collecting last year and have 8 hot toys and 130. That's a good start. Nice. You know, you don't want to go balls deep right away because you can really spiral out of control. You know, kind of speaking from a little bit of experience there. Like I said, dog chasing a tail. You got to make sure that you're planning ahead. This is a hobby that can definitely get out of control pretty quick. Optical, have you ever had, like in your early days of collecting, did it ever seem like you had to get everything or you were struggling to kind of stay in the hobby, or were you always just kind of keeping just your own pace? Do you have any tips for like a new collector out there?
Oh yeah. I mean, especially now, because when I started, there was only Dark Knight and Avengers. Maybe there's a little bit of mix of RoboCop in there, Terminator, but the hot one was Avengers at that point. So I'm a big fan of Dark Knight. So I was like, all right, I think I tried quitting like 5 times. I was just like, oh, man, this is it. And then you keep setting a bar for yourself, and then you keep on moving the goalpost, and you'll be like, all right, I'm just going to get 3 detolfs. Once the 3 detolfs are, filled up, I'm going to stop.
Sounds familiar.
And then it got filled. And I was like, you know what? I got room for 2 more detolfs. And you know what? After that, I'm going to, and then I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to complete the entire Dark Knight. When it's done, I'm done. I was like, but I'm going to get the core Avengers, just that. And then you bought Quicksilver's, you know what? Just Age of Ultron. And then you just progress to here. And that's the beauty of, I guess, of collecting. It never ends. And it would never end. That's why I got these guys. I was like, oh, I got a vision for my display. I was like, that would change in like 5 months. Right. So, like if you think you're spaced out, you're probably going to eventually sell. And it's a never ending hobby. So the only suggestion that I would say, because this could be expensive and addicting as well, set a goal and don't break that goal. And I mean money wise, and don't do monthly. I don't know. It depending on what works for you. What works for me is yearly, right? So I'm going to be like, I'm only going to spend $5,000 a year. That's it. So if I spend $3,000 in 3 months, that's my fault. I only got $2,000 to play around with. So, and 5,000 is a random number, by the way. It's not my goal. But yeah, so because if you do monthly, man, you're gonna be like, oh man, it's gonna come out this month. This is gonna come out this month. Now I'm kind of screwed. No, but it's okay. I'm gonna deduct. It's like, no. Plan ahead. You know what's coming out. Like if you look at Sideshow, you know what's coming out on December to May, so you can kind of predetermine. So like right now I kind of split it up. I was like, all right, this is what must-haves, and this is the one that I'm gonna buy when it goes on sale. So I like everything. I like Shang-Chi, I like Wenwu, but I ain't gonna buy that MSRP. You know.
There you go.
So if it hits a certain price point, I'll pull the trigger. I'll make an exception to my $5,000 because if it's like 25%, I was like, it's not gonna get lower than 25. So, and then you have that mindset. But I'm set, for example, for myself, I'm set for No Way Home. I'm gonna get that. So I'm set with that. If I buy it full price, I buy it full price. You know, it's like, but keep in mind, guys, I do YouTube, so it makes sense for me to buy it day one. If I buy it day one, I make AdSense out of it. If you're a regular collector, you know, kind of gauge it. You know, you can kind of gauge it. It was like there are certain figures where if you lose out, you're screwed. For example, Cyborg. If he sells out, what are you gonna do? There's only one Cyborg. Let's say this Wanda. How many Wandas there is now? Like currently, we have Age of Ultron, and then you have the other one, the special edition, and then you have this, and then you got two more. If you miss out on this, you can go back. Age of Ultron is not that expensive, right? So depending, you're gonna see what your options are. You know, kind of like Superman. Oh, how many Supermans are there? Oh, if I miss out on this, can I get this? So, and this is how you stay long enough. Because if you go balls out, it's like, all right, I'm gonna do this. You're probably gonna last 3 years max.
Right.
And then we're headed to recession. You'll be like, oh man, I gotta sell this. Oh, yeah, you're gonna take a loss, a lot of loss, because they're all available still. Like, think of any figures in the past 3 years. Which ones are Grail? The one that
I can't think of any.
Nothing. Right?
Nothing. I can't.
You're lucky if you can get break even. You know, maybe Arena Boba, but that's
Yondu. Is that within 3 years, or is that like that might be a 4-ish?
Arena Boba was recent, but it's not like Grail. You know, like it went at first, it was like 450. Now it came down to 330.
Right.
I've seen some 300. So at that point, when you pay tax and shipping, that's probably breaking even. So think about it. Like in the past 3 years, have we ever had like a Grail? Maybe one or two. I can't even think of any.
It's definitely not like it used to be. That's for sure.
Right. So go ahead.
No, I thought Into the Spider-Verse, one of those two figures were going to become like, you know, a high selling or a high wanted figure, a Grail, once this movie came out. But now they re-released the figures, or, you know, they showed that and they're still available on Sideshow. So it's like, oh, I guess that's not happening. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't know any Grails right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's where I'm at right now. I guess I'm different too, because I have a lot. So it's like, I'm in a point where if I don't get it, I don't get it. You know, it's like, to me, it feels better if I buy it, because my money would stretch. Like if you buy one figure a year, what's $50, right? You buy 10 figures a year, you save $50 per. That's $500 you just saved. That's 2 extra Hot Toys on full price. Yep. You buy 20 figures a year, you save 50 per. That's 2,000. How many Hot Toys do you get for free, right? So if you look at it in one transaction, then sure, you know, why would you wait 6 months to save $50 for a $200 figure? That is if you buy one Hot Toys. What if you buy multiple, and then you add that savings? You know, and to what? Like I asked some of the guys, like, why do you need Vision now? So you can hold him, put it on your D12, and never touch him again for the next 7 months while you see his value plummet down. Yeah. That's what you want. Just like, all right. But again, I'm more of a get off my lawn guy at this point. I've been doing 13 years. I'll be like, yeah, I don't need another Vision. And Vision is one of those sought after figures because we only had Age of Ultron.
Right.
And Vision is shocking to me. I think that one honestly took me by surprise, because I bought the original Age of Ultron one in. You know, I went backwards to get him, and I was not impressed when I got him in hand. He was very pinkish. The colors were just off. It just seemed like it was an okay figure. So I sold him, and then, you know, obviously I was thinking Infinity War would probably do him. Never happened. Then we got him in WandaVision. I was like, okay, now this is my chance. And this was one of those figures that, you know, I immediately picked up, thinking like, oh man, there's only been 2, and this one's gonna be the superior one. And obviously, anybody who's been keeping track, obviously, you know, Vision is no longer, you know, Vision like he used to be. So I was like, this is gonna be perfect. right? It kind of hits those boxes there. But now to see it, 190, I think you're right, Optical. I think I saw it for the same price too. It's just like, why is a figure like Vision so inexpensive right now? So, I mean, I think it's a combination of Marvel kind of, ceding some of its popularity to other IPs possibly as well too, and some fatigue maybe from superheroes in general. But it just like there's no rhyme or reason to why some of these figures keep their value and some of them don't, especially nowadays here. So I don't know. But yeah, Vision was a shock to me too. I was surprised to see that price being as low as it is today.
Yeah, it plummeted. And I feel like I don't know how long you've been collecting DLO, but back in 2015, we don't have a lot of options. You missed out on this. What are you going to look at? 3 other Iron Mans, plastic Iron Man. But now, nowadays, you miss out on Vision. You're probably going to sob for like a good week. Let's say he sold out, right? Oh, man,
right.
Didn't get a chance to get that Vision. Oh, wow, they release a new Star Wars figure. So your attention span gets shorter and shorter, and then you move on to different things right away. And even if you buy them, I feel like that's the case. You are excited for one figure. The moment you get them, you unbox them. 1 week later, you're browsing again on Sideshow website. I was like, what's the next figure that I'm going to buy?
Wow, it's true. It's very true.
Yeah, while you are dreaming for this dream figure of yours, and you had him, you unboxed him, took a couple of pictures, put him on your DTOF, and I'll be like, all right, let me go back to Sideshow because I got a coupon from buying this guy. So let me you don't even have the chance to.
It's a vicious cycle. I mean, you're hitting me in the feels right now.
I'm not alone.
Attacked personally now. Like I just met you, pal. Take it easy.
Get out of my head, man.
Yeah.
And that works back in 2016 because if you bought this and then it sold out, there's nothing else. So you can turn around and sell it. Now it doesn't work. You
had what, 40 or 50 pre-orders a year. Now you're at what, 130, roughly. So there's a lot more just to like keep looking at, going through that vicious cycle and like, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Because I think we know we can't collect everything, but in the same time, our goal is to collect as much as we can and get those figures. So it's definitely a lot harder maybe nowadays than it ever was to kind of like we were saying, like have a budget, hold back, pull the reins in a little bit. So that's really good advice.
Mistakes are unforgiving nowadays.
Right.
You buy, for example, you buy Lando full price because you're excited. Oh, this is the only Lando. And then he becomes like 180. It's like, it's just like, man. And I'm talking about Sideshow. What if you BSTs even lower, 150?
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
And then you do that multiple times. If just one Lando, cool. You do that multiple times, that would hurt.
Right. No, I mean, and even for me, like I'm trying to, I guess, clear some of the fat out of my collection. So I'm looking at moving King Shark, Transport Trooper, Tusken Raider. What was the other one? Possibly Rescue. Optically, think any of those are going to fetch me some big bucks these days?
Oh, wow. Yeah, you probably have enough. If you sell all those, you can probably buy the 2-pack boba.
Right. So
it's also discounted as well, too.
So
the good news is I didn't buy any of those at retail. So they're all pretty far under. Like King Shark, I think I was all in tax and shipping 180. So whatever, I don't like it or it's just not meant for me. It's not that bad. But yeah, if you're buying at retail and you're paying the tax, you're paying the shipping, and then you're not happy a few months later, like the problem is you're gonna lose your ass on that figure. And yeah, like you said, if you do that multiple times, you might be tapping yourself out because there's almost no way to come back from that. So yeah, just great advice on being careful, be selective, be patient, set a budget, try to stay with it. And if you need help or if you need a therapy session, come to the Jedi Night's Watch because we can talk about all our problems together because I'm no better than you guys out there. So it's always good to just kind of keep learning. But
you are the worst, sir.
I am the worst. I tell you, dog chasing his tail. That's all it is. So J Toys wants to know if anybody is getting the Ryu from Iconic. Not me. Not a big
Looks really cool
fan.
But yeah, I'm not gonna get it. I do like it.
Tekken fan.
Yeah, me too, man.
I'm more of a Tekken guy.
Yeah, they come out with an Eddie or a Yoshimitsu. I'm getting it.
There we go. We'll talk.
Yep.
We'll talk.
Yep. But no, Ryu looks really cool. I heard somebody talking about like getting Ryu and Ken and then getting like a car in the middle you know, like back in the Sega days,
That would
where
be
they, like,
sick.
heat up the
Yeah.
car. Yeah, it'd be kind of
Yeah,
cool.
okay.
Little setup there, but yeah.
Love it.
Opticals is something you'd get.
No, this is what I'm talking about earlier. Beautiful figure, but there's so many things out there.
Yeah.
This was released 8 years ago. You're probably like, man, I want to take a break from Marvel. So let me get this Ryu.
Right.
But now instead of saying that, you'd be like, you know what? Let me take a break from Star Wars. This thing is beautiful. So let me get this. So, yeah, it's so many good things coming out. So yeah, unfortunately, some things has to be left out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mike Literis says, speaking of balls deep, I definitely hit it possibly a little too hard. I'm at 38 figures in hand in 6 months with about 30 more on pre-order. It's a sickness. That I can agree with. But yeah, you got it bad, Mike. You got it real bad. I wish I had that drop of that.
Wonder
that
if he's
song.
got Wanda coming in.
My
you
first
getting
year was
Wanda?
the worst. My first year, once I got my first figure in hand, by the end of that year, I actually had 100 figures. I'm not even joking. Not an exaggeration. It was silly. When I found out about like Facebook groups and I saw the prices of those, because my first ones, I was getting mostly from Sideshow and eBay. You know, eBay for the ones I missed, but like brand new and all that. When I found out people sell them used and the prices, I was like, so how much do I have in my 401k? What can I, does my kid really need to go to college? Is he really smart enough to make it anyway? You know, all those things were questions in my head there. And just by the end of that first year, 100 that first year. Never
You can
again.
have ramen for a week, right?
A year.
A
You ate
year, yeah.
ramen for a year.
Ramen would be a ribeye to me that year.
No, I mean, it was the same thing with me too, though. I mean, I'm a COVID baby, a COVID collector. So I started, April of 2020. My kids weren't going to daycare. We were working remote, wasn't driving anywhere. I had all this extra money. I was collecting NECA and Funko, and I'm like, I really want to get a hot toy. And I remember thinking to myself, just get one. I'll just get one. And at least then I can say I have one. I think by end of May, I already had like seven or eight. And then, it just kind of went downhill from there. I have curated over time, and, I try to use my collection to fund my collection as well. Like if something's not grabbing my eye anymore, it goes. But I'm a little bit more careful these days too, just making sure, like I for sure don't want or need it, because I have had a couple regrets where I have sold a figure and then had to get it back. So,
yeah, I'll let you guys know if I sell the Lego collection.
It's coming.
Get more figures.
I know it's coming.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We'll see.
He even
The
brought
dark
it up
side.
today about selling the Titanic for $1,000. And how many figures could I get?
I
with
saw
this?
some people selling for 1,000. Some are like 800, but yeah, $1,000 when I spent $760 on it. And
That's a DeLorean right there.
Yeah,
Just saying.
or like 8 figures on eBay apparently 180.
Yeah, buy, sell,
Not quite
trade.
8, but yeah.
Well, like DLO said too, like we were talking last week, and you were like, yeah, I see people on buy, sell, trade. They're like in search of blank figure under retail. It's still in stock at Sideshow under retail. And DLO, what did you say about those kinds of posts back in the day?
Back in the day when I started, those are the types of posts that you would get executed for. Like you would be publicly shamed for even having the audacity to make a post with that iOS at the top there. Like you're going to get like a deal, not looking for Evil Bay prices. Like, well, you're going to get worse than Evil Bay prices, pal. We're not going to help you. But nowadays, it's like, hey, man, I got this.
Yeah.
I'll throw an extra $20 off for this if you get the, it's like, man, we used to be a strong community where we held our value together. Now we all just drop our pants.
Right. Let's see. Christian says, I woke up from drinking a tad more than planned. Saw I had accidentally bought a Jazz Inc. 1989 Batmobile.
Accidentally.
No regrets. That's not like me.
How does that happen?
I was at the Morgan
so
Wallen
wasted.
concert, and like
Through it.
I was drinking, and I that's where I bought the King Shark. But I was still with it enough to get the deal, and I felt good about it. And I thought that was like, dang it, now I got to try and sell this thing. But like, it wasn't no Jazz Inc. Batmobile. Like that is a crazy crazy accidental buy. But hey, if you got no regrets, that's pretty cool. You know, hopefully that comes and looks magnificent. So that's a funny story though. Mike says I probably hit it too hard. Started about 7 months ago. Went balls deep, 40 figures in hand. Did I read that already? I think I did. Let's see. I think Thor left. I'm just trying to catch up really quick. You know, and the one thing I will say too about this Wanda is, you know, the Wonder Woman has that seamless body and the new body with that like that metal skeleton, but she is kind of hard to pose. Like she's stiff, and it's like DLO,
Well,
you have
probably
her,
worry
right?
a little bit more too.
What's that?
DLO, you have that Wonder Woman.
The Justice
The
League
new
one,
one.
or
No, the new one. Do you have that
the new
that
one? No, not yet. I'm waiting for a discount.
So with that metal body, you know, it's a tougher figure to pose. It's got a lot of pushback, but you know, you don't want to break anything. So I do think like that is kind of some of the positive articulation with this Wanda one is you're not going to have, like, if you had that body, it'd be a harder time posing it. But I've seen the sideshow video today, and you're going to be able to like do whatever you want with the arms and whatnot. So I think articulation is going to be perfectly fine.
Speaking
But,
of the arms, no one brought this up yet. Like, it's been confirmed that this is single jointed elbows.
Yes. What do you think about
How do
that?
you got? I don't know. I was going to ask you the same question. I don't like that.
I don't like that at all. And I think there's no reason for it because the elbows are covered. So why couldn't you not have double jointed elbows? It's just like Bo-Katan. Like, these female figures, it seems like I don't know if they're cheapening out or they're just getting lazy and they're just like, well, whatever. And, you know, they don't give you the double jointed elbows. So to me, it's a problem. It's not one of those things where I'm going to scoff at the figure and say, I'm not buying it because of that. But it is one of those things where I'm like, what the hell? Like, why can't you just give us double jointed elbows when they're covered? Optical, what are your thoughts on that?
It doesn't make sense, man, with Bo and the armor. It's like, why? The only, I guess, feasible explanation is the common denominator with those guys they're still all available and being discounted. So they probably don't want to invest. Like, okay, we got one body and they're not selling anyway. And we anticipate this Wanda being short on pre-order. You know what? Let's use the same body. It would be like, all right, you know, let's just use them all and, you know, put some light up because the hands do light up, right? So
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. There's like
guessing
a battery in her arm.
yeah, I'm guessing the switch is somewhere in her forearm, whatever.
Yep.
Yep.
Kind of like the lightsaber arms a little bit.
Yeah. That's the only the only explanation I can think of. That they're cheaping, you know, being cheap on these guys. But other than that, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for her, for Bo, or for Armorer.
But isn't an argument to be made that, like, if you're constantly giving us the same terrible body, we're not going to buy it. So maybe upgrade it and maybe we will buy it. I mean, is there a fair argument to say that?
I don't think that's going to be the breaking point. If you're Bo, you're not going to wake up one day was like, oh my god, they got double jointed elbows now. Let me go ahead and buy one. I don't think.
I know it's a dream, but yeah, I hear you.
I think it's the character itself. They know some characters just won't sell. You know, like the Loki of the world, and Gamora. And you see some of them, sometimes they're going to make it up on the head sculpt. It's like, oh my God, like the Gamora. It's such a beautiful head sculpt. Yet still, you know, this one has a beautiful head sculpt. But other than that, I'd be like, all right, let's cut corners and other things. I feel like I am, obviously, I don't know anything about that. Because you see with Iron Man, you know, they go all out and all that stuff. While here, why single jointed? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Brick, is this something that you're going to actually put the batteries in and like light her up at all? Or are you going to?
No, because I wouldn't know what the hell I was doing. And I wouldn't want to break it. Maybe if one day, you know, we got together since we live in the same area and you wanted to mess with it and we'd figure it out. But no, not personally.
No, I'm not for that. So you're on your own. I have not put batteries in one of my figures.
Well, and I heard like they could like have corrosion or something too, right?
Well, yeah, if you leave them in, it's just like any other battery. If you leave it in over time, it could corrode. And the problem is these batteries are so damn small and such a pain in the ass to put in. And then when you get them in, they last literally, I'm not even exaggerating, like 5 minutes. So as soon as I started collecting, I said, I'm not messing with that. If you guys, like, I even said it in my videos early on, if it's something you guys want to see, there's plenty of other reviewers out there that do it. But unfortunately, I'm just not going to mess with it. So it's just...
It'd be cool to set up for like a review. And then after that, just not mess with it at all. But no.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good too. So Yeah, I was just curious about that. If that was something that you would be interested in, because I mean, it does look cool with the light up hands, but I just don't know if it's worth.
I think it's
the
cool that
time.
they put it in there, you know, and I don't know if they wouldn't have that, if the price would be lower. I don't know if that's a thing, but yeah, it's cool that they have it.
So you guys were saying we're going to finish up on this, and then we'll move on to Inart here. But you were we're talking about Vision and how he's really tanked. Do you guys think her coming out helps sell the sales of Vision at all, or do you think it's just not enough to really push that over? DLO, what do you think? Think his sales uptick a little bit?
Typically, that's what you normally see with, you know, when a primary figure comes out and the secondary figure is kind of, for some reason, released before that one there. But I mean, it's hard to say like how much it's going to do, because also you got to keep in mind too, there's 2 Visions to choose from this line as well. So it's almost like they cancel each other out. You know, sure, someone's going to pick up a Vision because they picked up Wanda, but at the end of the day, like it's going to be such a very mild help to the figures, because just like, I don't know, Marvel's just not in the right place right now for it to really like get people to buy in the first place. Then you throw in the fact that there's 2 options to choose from as well too. It's barely going to be noticeable. Honestly, it's barely going to be noticeable.
Right. I will say, just looking at them together though, they do look great. So for anybody that
100%
has Vision and is adding Wanda, you know, you're going to be able to have a really nice duo there. And I love this outfit. You know, I do want to see the Strange 2 figure when it comes out, but this one is beautiful, and it is one that I do want. But like you guys, like Optical said, this is one I'm okay waiting on, and I'm okay waiting for that nice, either the BOGO or the 25% off, whether that's in fall or whatever the time may be. I'm not in a hurry. And if for some reason, God forbid, she sells out, we have another one coming, which I'm perfectly fine with, because I was kicking that back and forth, you know, oh, I like this one better. Oh no, I like this one better. So I do think you guys are right. Just for that reason, they are so similar that I do think she's going to sit, and then she'll be going on that sale, because there's just going to be a lot to choose from. So any other thoughts you guys have on this figure before we kind of move on? Just shout it out.
The tiara is horrible. There, I said it. I don't like the tiara.
And that's not removable, correct?
I thought it was supposed to be removable, but I don't know if that's changed.
I thought it was when they first announced it, but I didn't see anything in the sideshow video that it was. So
it just looks like it's floating. Like it just, I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit.
The more I stare at it, the more it bothers me.
Here you can kind of see.
Thanks a lot, DLO. I'm seeing it now.
The joint's a little ugly.
I'm so
here.
excited for you, Brick.
You see that gap where it's not really flush, but it could just be the angle, because like it's not too terrible here. I mean, you can kind of. I don't think a lot of people are going to be displaying her like this, so
yeah, it's typical like Hela. The same thing with Hela when Hela was out there. Everybody complaining about the same thing. You put the cape on, no problem.
All right, let's just check in with the chat before we kind of move on. Jazzy said, I started collecting NBA Enterbay figures before Hot Toys, and the secondary market is stupid expensive. Optical, do you still have any Enterbay stuff? Do you?
I still have a lot. Yeah,
I
I did cash in on some of the expensive ones, like the Iversons of the worlds, and you know, the KDs before they re-release KDs, because the new Enterbay you've seen it, they're not that good.
Yeah, the Giannis one doesn't look great.
Yeah.
D'Lo, did you sell your Kobe's?
Yeah. Actually, the person got them on Friday. He was very happy with them. So
good.
So yeah, I'm bummed
out.
Why'd
you sell those, if you don't mind me asking?
Well,
lost the passion for it, or was it like just didn't fit?
No, what happened was at the time I had really wanted the Nightmare Batman / Justice League Superman 2-pack. Right, I already had a Nightmare Batman. So obviously, in order to get that Superman, I had to buy the whole thing, and I couldn't justify having 2 of the same figure. Just for me, you know, it wasn't worth it. Plus, on top of it, at the time, you know, the value was starting to go down because you know the figures were just going to be released pretty shortly. So I made a trade with somebody. They offered me the Kobe 2-pack, which was awesome. I really liked it. It was my first and only Enterbay figures. It was really nice. In fact, Octago, I think I came across one of your videos from back in the day where I think you were playing with, I don't know what the name of the company was, but it was the hoop that you had. I think it was like Storm something, maybe.
Oh,
I
yeah,
you
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
But
Storm Toys.
yeah, I'm glad I didn't watch the second video, because the first video instantly made me want to get everything and make a whole huge display with everybody playing against each other. So thankfully I didn't go that far, but it was a great video. But yeah, I love the figures. I mean, I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan. I mean, that's where my passion for basketball kind of lives and kind of ends. Unfortunately, just I can't get into today's game as much as I did back then. But yeah, it just, when you have Kobe sitting next to Jack Sparrow and Terminator, it doesn't feel right. It felt weird. So, I said, better get rid of it and then pretend to try to enjoy how it fits in my display than, keep it in there and not being 100% satisfied. So I wound up selling it there, but I got a good price for it there. So I got what I paid for it. So I was happy with that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
One last thing for Scarlet Witch before we move on. If you watch Sideshow's unboxing, it kind of looked like double jointed when Terry pulled the thing on her arm. So I did see that 6-scale Mafia confirmed from people that had it in hand that it is single jointed elbows, Jazzy. So it is what it is, I guess. All right, we got any Harry Potter fans in the house here tonight? Because this is the next thing that dropped from our buddies at Inart, and it is the Harry Potter figure. They gave us photos of the rooted hair and the sculpted hair. We have some rough estimates on price points thanks to Big Breda, so we'll share those as well. But Rob, I want to start with you since you're
Sure.
the Hogwarts in the panel. What
Hogwarts?
A Potterhead.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? I know you've seen my Inart Joker.
Yeah.
But obviously that's the only offering that they've given us to this point. Pennywise still hasn't been released. We've got a couple Lord of the Rings figures, and then now this Harry Potter. So let me know what you like about the figure, thoughts. If there's anything you don't like, would you get this? And we'll kind of go from there.
I would get this. I am a Potter fan. You do not see Potter and mini 1/6 scale anywhere. And I think it looks really good. I mean, for some reason though, when I look at these pictures, the sculpted face does not look as good as the rooted face. I don't know if it's the lighting or what.
I think it's the hair, to be honest. I think the hair,
and it might be. Yeah. I mean, the sculpted hair might bring off some more light and brightens up everything. I don't know how all that works, but if you look through the pictures there, it is pretty noticeable, but I think he looks great. I'm glad they went with the younger version. I think, eventually if they got the other two kids, Hermione and Ron, it would look really good with this. And I've been a Harry Potter fan since I was like 11 or 12 years old. So this is a lot of nostalgia here. They just came out with the Hogwarts Legacy game, did very well with the ratings. I think this will sell. They got the new HBO series coming out. Not with these actors, obviously, but I think it looks great. I think Hedwig the Owl looks amazing. I'm not sure if that's magnetic. I'm guessing it is. But Graham, you wanted chaos. I'm gonna bring some. I don't know if I'm right in saying this, but I think it's great that Inart is doing stuff like this. I think it's cool that it's not just Marvel and Star Wars. I think it's cool that they're bringing different lines like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. I know we haven't seen it all, but we hear that they're coming, and I think that's really, really cool for collectors. And I think it's going to bring more collectors in as well. When Game of Thrones fans, Lord of the Rings fans, Harry Potter fans see figures like this, like, oh crap, what is this? Okay, cool. And it's pricey. But we have seen other Harry Potter things, such as Lego, go for a very hefty price that sells very well with these Potter heads. So we'll see. I think it looks great. I love the robe. I love the scarf, everything about it. I like the rooted hair more. I don't like how it's $240 more, but if I were to buy it, which I plan on pre-ordering it, I think I'm going to go with the sculpted. So just because of the huge price difference, it's crazy.
So Rob, how many kids' parents do you think will buy this for them?
Well, I'm going to ask my mom and
Smart.
see if she will at least pre-order it
Smart.
for me. And maybe she will. I mean, back in the day, she got me the books, and maybe she'll do it. No,
we were giving
I-
Rob crap earlier today, like saying
Yeah.
like this is for kids, and he's like, you do realize this came out like a long time ago, and these people are old now, and like he's just getting all hot and bothered
It was
about
a
it. but-
joke, Rick.
You know, I didn't sound like Napoleon, but yeah. It's a big deal. You know, it's been out for what, 20 years, 21 years now, something like that.
yeah.
So
You've seen
yeah.
all the movies,
and that's
Nice.
just the movies, not even the books.
right?
But
Yeah.
Optical, how many movies have you seen?
Absolutely none. Yeah.
well, I'm
I-
sorry to
yeah.
bore you.
I bought the DVD. I mean, the DVD, the Blu-ray, 3D Blu-ray back when my Best Buy was closing. It was like, I don't know when that was. The Sleepy Hollows. What's the name? The Hollow, the one with the hollow thing. Whatever. Part 2. It's
Oh,
Deathly Hollows.
Definitely Hollows.
I
Yeah.
couldn't tell
D-Lo
ya.
is a secret fan. He's,
Yeah.
he's
I
there.
never said I wasn't.
Ooh.
Oh,
it's
boy.
still sealed. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember I went to one of them with my girlfriend at the time, and I fell asleep in the theater, and that was the only one I've ever even tried to watch. I don't know. I never got into it. Maybe I'll try it again. I'm a casual Lord of the Rings fan, but Harry Potter I just never got into. But we're just going to open this up to conversation. I'm not going to go through you guys one by one. I think we should just talk about this because I want to just get it out onto the table. So there's going to be a standard sculpted hair, which is what we're looking at right here. This is going to be roughly from the info that Big Breda has given us, because he did get the Chinese dollar amount. So what it comes out to from like 1/6 kit, an estimate is going to be $340, including shipping. Do you guys think that's fair? Do you think that's, I mean, this is a child, so he's not going to be a 12-inch figure. You know, it's going to be 7-8 inches, something like that. Or, you know, we go to the deluxe, which comes with all the same accessories, but you're going to get the rooted hair, which I do think looks nicer. And then you get the, like the diorama backdrop for it. And it's not going to be like your Hot Toys quality cardboard. It's going to be made probably from, I'm not exactly sure, but the Pennywise is like real wood pieces and stuff. And I know like the Joker, the prison had real wood and like, I think die cast and part of it. So I don't think it's going to be cheap, but this one is going to be, I think it was $580 all in. Do you guys think these are fair prices? Do you think Inart could be possibly pricing themselves out? Do you think there's a market for the rooted? I mean, if we're looking at Gandalf, Aragorn, they're the rooted and they're less than this one. I don't know if they come with that diorama or a diorama. The Joker was 2 figures rooted, and it was like what, 1,000? So about $400 more. But what are you guys like your first-hand thoughts here? Just kind of hearing prices, you know, seeing what Inart's doing. Do you have any thoughts? You know, whoever wants to just jump in, let's just start talking about it and see kind of where we go from there.
I guess I'll go. So, with this one here, I mean, I have the original Joker, like the standard edition. I think it was like $350 at the time I got that one. I thought that was fair for the time here, and I think for Harry Potter, specifically Harry Potter, I think that's a good price point. I'm not going to sit here and argue with it. It may be not what I want to spend for a figure, but I understand the value of the Harry Potter name, and I think that's what's going to really push us over the edge here. The fan base is ravenous. I mean, I did not know Brick had that long relationship with Harry Potter. I caught it in the movies. I didn't know there was books or anything like that until long after I went and saw a movie. Like, I think Harry Potter came out when I was in high school. So like this didn't appeal to me, you know,
Right.
at
Same
that
here.
time. So, but having said that, I mean, you know, fast forwarding 20 years now, which really makes me feel old now, but just like, you know, going through being a parent and watching my son enjoy the movies and, you know, wanting to go into the amusement park where we have the Harry Potter world and stuff like that there. Like, I understand where the price point comes for this year. Like, it doesn't seem like it's overpriced for what it is. I think if anything, it might be. I hope Inart's not listening. I think it's kind of underpriced if I'm being fair and honest here.
Jeez.
I know, but hear me out here because let's start with the price point on the standard one here. So standard one, Jetty, what did you say was the exact price?
340. Not the
340.
exact. It's the estimate, and that is including shipping with
Right.
1/6 kit.
Let's call it 350 for argument's sake here.
Sure.
350 for that. I mean, it's sculpted. It's going to have the magnetic base. I'm sure that their standard thing that I love so much. All the accessories that it comes with the exception of the diorama base and the rooted sculpt there. If you take the base price of the 350 and then you said the premium one is like 580 estimating. Okay.
Yep.
So that's only what a price point difference of maybe 230. So typically, I mean, I've done the custom jobs. I've gotten my figures rooted and stuff like that. I can tell you just on the root job alone, you're looking at close to $300, maybe $350, depending on which artist you get to commission it for you there, right? That's one thing. Then a diorama base on top of it too. You know, Hot Toys is doing that now. If you take the average price of what Hot Toys charges between their standard and deluxe versions there, it's usually about $85 to about $115 more, depending on which figure we're talking about there. So, I mean, if you add those all together there, the estimated value of something like this will be much higher than the 580. So now, am I going to say everybody's going to run out and spend $580 for this figure? No, not at all. But is a Harry Potter diehard going to and think about that being too expensive? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think for Inart, this is probably the most exciting figure they've made since that original Joker. You know, because you have, I forgot that they're making Batman. I forgot that they're making Pennywise. I'm a bit excited about Aragorn and Gandalf because Lord of the Rings. But outside of that, it doesn't have everybody talking like every other figure has. I think this, for them, strategy-wise, this is a very smart figure to announce because it's going to bring a lot of, you know, popularity and pop culture to the product there, and it's going to get people who are not even collectors to consider buying this too. So, yeah, I think it looks great. I like the sculpted like you do, Brick. But I kind of wish I could get that diorama, if I'm being honest. I like that diorama a lot. So,
wait, do you guys like the sculpted because of how it looks or because of the price? Because I think the rooted looks better.
See, I'm not crazy about the rooted on these figures here, especially this Harry Potter one. Because I mean, a lot of the photos, you know, depending on how it's brushed, it almost looks like it's too thin in the front. You know, kind of like how your hair gets. I mean, maybe I'll talk to Optical and Brick.
Yeah, what the heck?
But kind of like, you know, when you're sweating a little bit at the free throw line and your hair is kind of wet in the front, it's got that thinning look to it there.
Those days.
I bet you do. But it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that there. So I don't know. I'm not crazy about upkeep. Now that I have rooted figures, like I know that there's a lot of maintenance that is required if you want it to look as good as when you first got it. But again, I don't like the fact that I have to lose out on an exclusive accessory that I would love to have in my collection if I was to buy this, just because I prefer sculpted over rooted. But
you okay losing the scar with sculpted?
I was going to ask that. Is the scar kind of lost underneath the hair?
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. You're going to lose that scar.
Big time or just...
Well, I mean, you can't just brush it away or anything. So
Right.
Yeah.
But something to think about. Optical. Oh, go ahead, Brick.
No, I was just going to say I agree with DLO. I'm more disappointed that we don't get the diorama, you know, with the sculpted.
Okay, see, for me, my question is, but how practical is it? Like, most people have DTOFs or they don't have the space, so it's...
But I think with people who are Harry Potter fans and just getting this figure, they are going to want that diorama, you know, backdrop, basically. And when they see that it's $240 more, I think they're gonna just go with the you know, the sculpted hair. But
I don't know. Interesting. Optical, what are your thoughts? Do you think this is a fair price? Do you think Inart's doing something good here? Do you think they're pricing themselves out? Do you think it's not gonna work? Do you think it's working?
Depending on where you look at this, right? Like, so if you look at the sculpted hair, because we know we're always comparing Inart to custom, because custom is expensive. You get it rooted, you get 200. But now you go to the the standard version. This is 350, and I'm guessing he does the eyes move, right? It has
Yes.
purse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And smaller figure, with just regular one. Anakin Skywalker is 280 from Hot Toys. Full size figure, also with purse. I
Right.
think the thing is light up with USB. You go to the Lux version of this, it's 580. You can literally buy Anakin and Darth Vader from Hot Toys. And then you only have one figure of this. So the thing with here is that unless you're just a Harry Potter fan or you have unlimited funds, you're going to have to face those decisions. Let's say if you're budgeting, right? Like now you're allocating 580 into something else rather than, putting it out there. The question is how much support would this get from Harry Potter fans? Keep in mind,
It's a big question.
we do have, this is not the first one. We had a 1/6 Harry Potter before, Star Ace. Now,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, okay, you're gonna be like, well, they look horrible. Well, you don't know that up until Inart came out. Why weren't they supported? Right? Like kind of like the Lord of the Rings from Asmus. If you are that big of a fan, you would have bought it. Because we bought Thor from Avengers, from the first Avengers from Hot Toys. Look at it now, it doesn't look like Thor, but it got sold out. That's the foundation where Hot Toys was built. Look at Iron Man from 2008. He doesn't look like Tony Stark, yet it's sold. There's a Star Ace Harry Potter. No one bought it. There's an Asmus Lord of the Rings. No one bought it. Much cheaper. What makes us believe now that they're going to buy this? I mean, I'm sure people are going to buy this, but Inart didn't came here so that 100 people would buy this. They want thousands of people to buy this. The question is this going to be sustainable enough for them to continue this with the price that they're going for? Because if they want numbered, they're in statue business. They know how numbered pieces work. The reason they went into 1/6 is because they want that mass-produced Hot Toys money.
Sure.
The reason, and I believe the reason why you see that Joker popping in and out of pre-order is because it wasn't the number they were expecting. It was like, oh man, we were expecting like 15, 20,000. Open it up again because we spent all this money here, So how much support are they going to get from Harry Potter fans? Because like I said, Star Ace, horrible looking figure. But if you're that hardcore of a fan, as we're talking about, that's willing to pay 580, how come those same people didn't pick up the 199, 165 Harry Potter? You're going to be like, well, it doesn't look like one. Well, if you're that big of a fan, you would have bought it back in the day.
Well, it's kind of like video games. Like back in the day, we bought Game Day 98, NFL Game Day 98, and we're like, oh my God, I can almost see the names on the back of the jerseys. The graphics are so great. Nobody would buy it today because of what has come out since. But yeah, like you wanted a football game, and that was what the best that you could get. So that's what you got. Yeah.
Right.
And there's nothing else to get.
How long ago did the Star Ace figure come out?
I think 14, 15, same time as I think the Lord of the Rings from Asmus. And Artemis is still going at it, right? They're actually improving. Now, Star Ace didn't improve that much.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it was
all you had.
That's all you had.
Right,
If that's all you had, that looks great, right? Like my first Hot Toys was MMS 68. That doesn't look like Joker. But at that time, man, it looks like Joker. So if you have nothing to compare it with, and I was a big Joker fan, so but at that time I was like, I bought it for 170. That's big money for me back then. I was like, oh man, I'm buying a toy for 170. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with me? I bought it because I was such a big Joker fan, and that's where the foundation of Hot Toys was built. Like, and they eventually became better. Where were they? I guess that's my question, because I want this to be a hit for Inart so that they would have a stable license that they can lean into. Because right now, other licenses are competing kind of like with the DC Hot Toys, where it has a cheaper price point. Because I want Inart to succeed, so we have an option.
Sure.
But
yeah,
but it's gonna be hard if they're pricing themselves out, because not only you're competing with Star Ace right now. Yes, it's not a direct competition between this and, let's say, Anakin, but people are losing jobs. We're in recession. So now you're going to be forced with a hard decision, right? Like, are you going to buy? Would you rather have Harry Potter or Anakin? To some people, it's easy. You're a Harry Potter fan, go ahead. To some people, it's like, oh, man, 280.
Do you think it is like licensing with like the price? I mean, nobody has, not often Harry Potter, right? So maybe the license is just extremely expensive, and that's why they're pushing those prices up. I think we saw a comment earlier, and I think he might be right about that. Like, you know, maybe
Yeah,
it just costs
Jazzy
them
and-
so dang much to get the license for it, and they're trying to make up money for it. I mean, will they? Who knows? But I guess we'll see
Probably.
how. Yeah.
I just don't like the business approach. What do I know?
I agree.
right? Like, I
Sure,
just
I
don't
agree
like
with
the
you.
business approach that they're taking. That they're pricing themselves like they're the Ferrari, and maybe they are because their quality is really good.
I think
It's
that's what
just-
they're going for too. Like that's what I'm noticing the most about
Well-
how they're at least marketing themselves compared to what we're used to with Hot Toys. You know, you're getting this premium. The words premium. That's all you ever hear when you hear Inart talk about their figures. So, I mean, maybe they're trying to justify it, and maybe they may be overpriced. But at the same time, I think that's what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to differentiate their product from what Hot Toys has made themselves, if that makes sense.
yeah. It
And I
makes
will
sense.
say,
Yeah.
yeah, I will say aesthetically, like these figures, at least from the prototypes and how the Joker turned out, they look really great. But are they that much different from a Hot Toys figure? Probably not. But then you see stuff like the owl here. What's the name, Brick?
Hedwig.
Hedwig?
Yep.
Thanks. Hedwig.
I got you.
When we looked at him from far away, I thought this thing was like a soft good owl. It looked that good. Like I thought this thing had
Yeah.
like not real feathers, obviously, but when we get a closer look here, I believe this is sculpted.
Yeah.
And maybe it loses a little bit of quality when you get close to it. But good God, I mean, when you compare this to Back to the Future Einstein or the cat from Ripley, or hell, even what Cosmo looks like coming out, like I will say that stuff looks amazing.
Sure.
Like the tailored outfits look really good. But I do have concerns, like Optical said, we are in a recession. Hot Toys is losing value, and people are selling for 3/4 of what they paid or half of what they paid even, and they're just trying to get ahead. I don't know if this is something that can be sustainable where the prices are this much higher than what like Hot Toys is, because Hot Toys is already kind of like getting to that point where people are tapping out or people are being super selective because of their job, or groceries are double the price of what they used to be. So I'm just wondering, and Rob, if you want to answer this,
Sure.
is there enough hardcore Harry Potter fans to make this viable for Inart? Like in the state of the world, is this something that we still think is gonna sell?
I think it's going to sell. I don't think they're going to hit the mark that they want. I agree with Optical. I mean, they're looking for thousands and thousands, and probably with Harry Potter, they're looking for hundreds of thousands. Who knows? But I don't think it's going to sell like that. But I do think that it will sell, and it will put Inart on the map a little bit more than what they already are, because of the fact that they have figures that Hot Toys and other first parties are not doing. They, like I said before, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. I mean, those are huge. Game of Thrones. I know 3-0, right? 3-0 did Game of Thrones before, but
Yes.
I mean, they're doing stuff kind of outside of the box to bring in, and they still have DC. I mean, as of now, they still have Batman and Joker. So I think that's something Hot Toys needs to do. I know this kind of goes away from your question, but I do think Hot Toys needs to bring back those Terminators and Alien and RoboCop and all of that. But I know now too, like you guys are talking about, it's a recession. So is it a good time to do that? Is it a good time to spend money? I don't know if they still have the license for all those, and it might not be a good time for that, but Inart's doing it. I think it will bring Harry Potter fans in. I think there are a lot of collectors that, right now, we have 40 in the chat, 10 of them might be Harry Potter fans. 2 of them might be hardcore. I mean, who knows? But when you go to the, hundreds and hundreds of 1/6 figure collectors, they're out there. And I think they will turn to Inart to buy this figure. But yeah, we'll see.
I say don't underestimate this here. And why I say that is because I think we take for granted the age of this IP. This IP is far younger than DC, far younger than Star Wars, far younger than Marvel, that have been well established even before their respective universes really came about there, right? With Harry Potter being a young IP there, I think what we're failing to consider is the fact that a lot of these Harry Potter fans are now in a position to where they have adult money and they can go out there and can make these bigger purchases that maybe back in 2014 when Star Ace was an option, they couldn't afford Star Ace, or maybe they didn't like him, whatever their reason is. I'm not a huge Harry Potter guy. I'm not a die hard stuff like that though. But, I live in Florida, I have Universal Studios not too far away from me, about an hour away. And, you have Harry Potter, Wizarding World of Harry Potter right there. And I can tell you, I've watched grown men cosplay as a 10-year-old boy with a wand in their hands.
And those wands are like over $100. Those wands are.
The way Star Wars fans collect their lightsabers.
Yep.
At
it's a stick.
At Star Wars. At the Star Wars location in Disney, I've seen grown men drink butterbeer and all kinds of things that I would question.
Give me a butterbeer.
I thought you said my dream, man. I was like, hey, buddy, take it easy. That's what I heard there. Hey, whoa. But we're a family program. But all the same though, I just think that for what Harry Potter is at this stage for fans of, I think it's not going to sell and break records. I think the price point automatically kind of eliminates that as the potential there. If they came in a more friendly price, maybe a Hot Toys entry-level price, let's call it $285, for example, instead, I think it'd be a different conversation. But that's not what Inart wants to be. They want to be considered higher and bigger and greater than Hot Toys. More power to them. But I don't think this will scare off Harry Potter fans as much as we want to believe. We're not Harry Potter fans, but I can tell you there are diehards and diehards who spend money because they don't spend it on anything else but, their passion. So I think this is going to be a big seller. And I think this is going to be a seller that, like I said, reaches out to more than just the 1/6 community. I think it's going to be for people who haven't.
I will say this. I think that this figure would have done way better if it was the older version of Harry Potter. If it was like Deathly Hallows and he had like the wand, he was in battle stance, I think it would have done way better. But I do think it is cool that they went for the 11-year-old. It sounds weird, but they went for like that 11-year-old, the younger version, because nobody ever really has done that. You always see like the Deathly Hallows, all the cool stuff. This is kind of cool. And then when you get Hermione and Ron in there, if it sells well, then all three of them together, walking through the corridor with the light and, with their broomsticks or what have you. And, Hermione's got her, books, and Ron's got his rat, and it looked cool.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell you were just talking about, but
that's cool.
We'll just keep moving
on
forward.
I blacked out.
Sorry,
what I missed.
I think we went from like 40 to 20 right there. My bad.
So Peyton says it does look like a flocked owl. So just the fact that we don't know, like I can't tell, is a good thing. Like,
or is it only flocked with the rooted hair and then not? I don't know.
I don't know. It's a good question. 1/6 shooter says, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but this looks amazing, so I'm picking it up. It'll be fun to photograph. So I mean, there's somebody that's not even a fan that's willing to just pick this up. So good for you. We got Conquer Knight in the house. Cool to see you guys pop up on tonight for this news. Hey, thank you for joining us. I'll be on Wednesday night too if you want to come back then too. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Jazzy says, what if it can actually float with the broomstick and the magnetic base? LOL. That'd be crazy. Then it would be worth the money if that stuff floated.
Sick. Yeah, magic right there.
Like the battle version instead as well. But this is highly nostalgic, which sells. That is true. Like you guys said here on the panel, this is now 20-some years old, where it's starting to be a nostalgic IP. So there will be people out there that will buy this. So
yeah, like I said, they just came out with that game. They got the HBO series. People are going to be looking up Harry Potter stuff on Google, and this is going to pop up.
Well, and while I'm not a fan, it is refreshing to see Inart doing these types of IPs, because I collected in Hot Toys, unfortunately, after the Alien and Predator and Terminator, genre. And now it's all just Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, and then a little bit of DC sprinkled in. So I do like it that they're doing this stuff. but I wonder to what extent. Optical, do you think like they're actually going to like finish any of these lines that they're doing? I mean, outside of Pennywise, that was kind of a one and done, but I mean, Harry Potter, they could do a lot more. Game of Thrones, we haven't seen yet. You know, Lord of the Rings, the Batman, even. Do you think there'll be enough sales that they'll keep going though with these IPs, and they'll keep kind of, you know, creating these lines and more characters?
Well, at first they don't have any choice because they can't do Marvel or
Right.
any Disney, so they have to rely on Warner Brothers and the one-offs that we're talking about. So I was there when there was one-offs, right? The RoboCops, the Predators. You know why Hot Toys don't sell them anymore? Because they don't sell. RoboCop I picked up on Amazon with a chair for $200.
Oof.
Predator, I collected all that under $150. They do not sell. As much as we think that, hey man, this is something new, we're gonna get it. They look at Pennywise. He's something new. Where is he at? Like you see him for 180, at Sideshow of all places, right?
Sure,
He's
right.
something new.
Yeah.
He's a one-off. You're gonna see that Doc, the one that's all nostalgic about, like Back to the Future. Where is he at now? He's sitting there. The reality is team ups
Sure.
do sell. That's why Stormtroopers are selling, even though, and I bet you those Stormtroopers cost them like $30 to make. Hot Toys.
At least.
And yeah, so if they make them $30, even if they mark it down to $150, they still made a boatload of money. It's just like, why pay for a license for RoboCop if you can make another Stormtrooper? It sucks. I get it. It sucks as a collector, but that's the reality of business. And the difference is that when they did that, those one-offs were cheap. You're asking now the public to buy one-offs at $500. What makes you think that a 180 Pennywise, Hot Toys Sideshow could not get rid of a $180 Pennywise? What makes you think a $500 Pennywise would sell? Because it has rooted hair? It's just like, you know what I mean? Like and I don't know. We talked to the guy who does that, and he's just a spokesperson, but I felt like the strategy was really wrong. I felt like they should have captured our attention, hooked us in. I mean, if this came out in COVID era, they would have a better chance.
Sure.
Agreed.
Yeah, they would have a lot better chance than now, because Hot Toys is actually adapting to the world. Look at Thor: Love and Thunder. Thor was 320, and then you look at Anakin at 280. What is the difference, right? Anakin's a better figure. He has purse. Thor doesn't even have purse. Look at that Spider-Man, the new release, the black and the newer one where the head sculpt is amazing. 280. Jane 330. So they realize that the curve is not on their favor, and this doesn't pertain just to Hot Toys or 1/6. Look at statues. All collectibles in general are just not necessities right now. So it's curving down, and then you're gonna come in with a 580 Harry Potter. I mean, I get it. It looks great. It looks good. Like, I'm not doubting their quality. I just want them to sell. I just wish that they made it a hard decision for a lot of people. Kind of like, hey man, this Harry Potter, I rooted hair for $375. It's a must-have. That's the price of an Iron Man, for example.
Yeah.
And then they get their foot in the door. Now you're ready to compete. But at this point, it feels like the 580. You gotta be a hardcore Harry Potter fan, or it's asking a lot. What I don't want to hear is what I hear from Aragorn or Gandalf. Oh, it looks great. I love it, but it's not for me. You don't want to hear that from most collectors. You want to hear from 1/6 shooter, where it's like, I don't, I'm not a big fan, but I'm gonna pick it up anyway. That's what you want to hear.
Exactly.
And you're gonna get more of that if the price is kind of more favorable into your era, like into your realm. But you don't want to hear that Aragorn was like, oh man, this is the most beautiful figure I've ever seen, but it's not for me.
Right.
It's like, well, how does that help Inart? It doesn't. They need funds. You can't do that, but we'll see.
1/6 shooter. The price is not confirmed yet. We're going off of estimates that Big Breda was able to get through the Hong Kong price. So basically, we're getting the estimate from 1/6 kit, $340 with shipping for the sculpted, and then $580 for the rooted deluxe.
And that should be confirmed tomorrow, right? Isn't that the pre-order date? The picture that DLO sent me? I thought it said the 23rd, but
I believe
supposedly.
you're right.
okay.
So, I mean, yeah, he looks good. One thing that I will say about Inart, I love how they incorporate the bases with their figures. I love what they did with Joker. I love how it was round. And being that Queen Studios, comes from like statues and stuff, I think they do a really good job of incorporating the base into the art of the figure, where something that Hot Toys has always kind of annoyed me with, where like the base kind of just makes it look toyish, or just kind of like an octagon shape that has like the print on it and stuff. I think something where it's like the floor of where they're standing in a scene, I just think that looks so classy. And that is something that does kind of make me gravitate towards these Inart figures. And I do like it a lot. But DLO, we kind of talked about like superhero fatigue. And I know Optical's saying, like Predators and Terminators and Alien didn't really sell that well. But with Inart going to, and again, I know they only have the Warner Brothers license, but with them going with these types of releases, and with the possibility of like superhero fatigue, do you think there is a chance that we do start to see more of these miscellaneous IPs, or do you think this is Inart's bag and they're just going to stick with it because that's what they got?
I think it's a window of opportunity. I think it's kind of a time to where, if Inart really wants this to be successful, or anybody wants to get into an IP that is not, Marvel or DC or Star Wars, now's really the time, more specifically Marvel DC side, not so much Star Wars, to take a shot at an IP like this. Just because, post Endgame, Marvel really is not churning out the hits as frequently as it did before. I just saw Ant-Man on Disney Plus last week. I want my money back. I didn't pay for it.
I'm still trying to get through that. I'm about halfway done.
That was tough. That hurt me deeply because I'm a big Paul Rudd fan. But yeah, so if you wanted to give yourself the best opportunity to have your figure stand out and not be crushed by like a juggernaut, like an Iron Man figure or any of the major players in the game here, now's the time to do it. And it's really up to us as collectors to figure out if that's something we want to embrace here. Because Optical brings up an excellent point there. As much as, I, myself, and a lot of others say, man, I wish they did one-offs, this and that. If it doesn't sell, then it doesn't sell. And they're not going to continue. They're not going to make them, right? So Inart has taken a big gamble in trying to, go for an IP that's not being serviced at the moment, in trying to make it something that we all will distract ourselves from buying the next possible trooper from Star Wars or the next Darth Vader that's going to be released here. I mean, you're fighting a battle against established IPs in a time where the economy is not that great and people are being much more selective than they have been in the past. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting here. Obviously, tomorrow will be a better indication of what the prices really are going to be. And at the same time, people are going to have to say yes to the figure more than say, oh, it looks good, and have to kind of embrace this is going to be the price for Inart. Inart is not going to be the direct competitor to Hot Toys. It's going to be a premium option to Hot Toys instead. So yeah, only time will tell. We'll see what happens.
Well, and like you guys said, I hope it sells. I'm not a fan and it's not something for me, but I want to see more of these miscellaneous IPs. I just bought the third-party Scissorhands because I really wanted Edward Scissorhands representation in my collection. I want more of that stuff. I want Willy Wonka. I want John McClane from Die Hard. I want those things because that's me and that's my childhood and stuff. So I want this to do well. I just worry that price, they're going for more of a minority, and maybe if that's their business tactic, that they're not going to mass produce this, and they're going for kind of somebody that is willing to pay that extra dollar for like the premium look to it, then that's fine. But I hope it does well. But I do worry too that like Inart you know, we talked to John in a couple chats, and it was like we were going to get the Joker in Q4 of 2022, and you know, now it's coming out just like in late Q1 of 2023. Like, you know, there hasn't been a whole lot of movement. Pennywise still isn't out yet. I just kind of worry that they're not pushing things out as quick as, you know, maybe they could. But does that worry anybody else? Just kind of maybe how sluggish. Not even. It's not that it's terrible, I guess, but like I think they're over promising and under delivering for some of that stuff.
Yeah, I expected that, to be quite honest with you, because I feel, and let me, with the question earlier with the one-offs, one of the main reason why Joker was, and it was no question for me that Joker is going to be successful for Inart, is because that Joker, not only because it's beautiful, it's such a work of art, but also it seems cheap compared to a DX11. Now you have that competition, so if you're buying it, you're playing on your mind. Why would I buy a $600, $700 DX11 if I can just add $300? Because back then, DX11 was the Joker before this. DX11 costs around $700 to $600. Now you're playing on your mind. Why would I pay $500? I might just well get the 2-pack. I got a rooted hair Joker. So now you rationalize that in your head. Now it seems like you got a deal. Right. You can't do that with Pennywise. You can't do that with other figure. You know who we can do that for? Terminator. Because DX13 right now is around $500 to $400 or $450. And you might have flaking on the jacket. So it's all about timing, making people think that they're actually saving. Now if you're for a market for a Terminator, now you can make an option. Either buy the old DX13, which is like, I don't know, 7 years, 8 years old, or buy a $550 Terminator from Inart or $600. Now you're thinking, was like, man, if I just add $200, now that sounds like a deal, right? Not when you do things like this. So it's all about timing. So plus, you know, like Brick earlier, he said, like, you know, the Harry Potter is hot right now. The HBO, when this gets released, the game has been long gone. This is probably going to be released 2-3 years from now. So it's timing, it's pricing, and it's just I don't, you know, like I wanted one of my favorite TV show is Dexter. I wanted that to be made.
Great show.
But I know that's not going to be made. You know, like selfishly, I want it. But I know, like, how many people are going to buy Dexter? You know, like realistically, like the license, the likeness. Well, how much are they going to sell? 100, 250? Is that enough to cover the cost of production and whatever? I don't think so. Somebody tried to make it, and it's still on pre-order. I don't know. It's been pre-order for like 3 years. So I doubt that's going to happen. So with Inart, I don't know. If I was them, I'll do Terminator. Because now you're playing on your mind at the.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Inart Terminator and like all the detail and stuff like that. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I will say I do not like Harry Potter's hands. I've been noticing that in every picture. Like the picture earlier that you had where his hand was at his side. They just look so big. I don't know. It could just be me, my mind playing tricks on me, or got some big hands.
Throwing into them.
Yeah. Oh, and I was gonna ask, do you guys know if the glasses come off? Because they don't look like they do, but I was just wondering.
True. We haven't seen
they haven't stated that yet.
Yeah. Yeah, the hand, man. I don't know.
He's just an awkward, almost teenage boy. That's all.
Yeah.
So, any other thoughts on this guy before we kind of move on?
I said my piece.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of got our thoughts across. Hopefully, they do well. But yeah, I mean, obviously, there's some concerns, and you know, how will it do? That remains to be seen. Lastly, I just want to talk about this figure for a couple minutes. It is the Atlantis Princess, the Mera. It's from Flashpoint. I'm not really familiar with that, but DLO, you kind of like, hey, you know, it's kind of cool, the nightmare stuff. You know, maybe kind of add that to it.
Sure.
So is this is obviously from the end scene of Snyder Cut Justice League, but is this something that you guys are interested in? DLO, I'm going to start with you just because I thought of you when I saw it, because you it piqued your interest a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge DC fan, apologist even. So for me, obviously, with my excitement, Cyborg coming out and all that stuff, I'm noticing a lot of more interest in like the nightmare scene stuff from Snyder Cut, and I came across this, and immediately I was intrigued because this company Flashpoint, they've already announced the Deathstroke from Flashpoint. I think they've already released the Flash version of the Nightmare stuff. So this is the last piece there. So it's interesting here because I'm not a third party guy. All right. You guys know this about me by now, but I am a huge DC fan. I have Nightmare Batman. I also had a Nightmare Joker commissioned to do that there. So Cyborg, they are doing, I think you mentioned that earlier, like Young Rich Toys. Someone made it in the comments and asked Optical. Young Rich Toys has a set that makes your Cyborg look like the end sequence of the Justice League movie. So, overall, you could theoretically have your Justice League and then your Justice League Nightmare team as well too here. So, right. I've seen a bunch of mirrors made. I think what's the company? I think it's called Super Duck Toys or something like that. I don't know, but they've all been pretty bad, and this is the most recent one. It actually looks pretty decent. So I'm thinking about picking it up. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the price point on this here, but I don't think it looks bad. I'll be honest with you. I mean, what do you guys think?
I don't really see it, but I'm going to defer to Optical on this one.
It doesn't look bad. Like the tailoring looks good. But I don't see Amber Heard at all. You know what? Funny enough, like I watch Quantum Mania, and the daughter looks like a young Amber Heard. Am I the only one?
Thought, yeah, I
like
see that.
Yeah, this one looks good. It's just not. I feel like it just doesn't look like her. But if I would watch an entire movie of that nightmare scene if they ever make one. I'll be the first one.
Cool.
Seriously, that's the opportunity
that would
they
be
missed.
awesome.
Oh, I would love to have. I would sit for 4 hours to watch that thing. it looks so. And I don't know, like DLO is. I love DC. Maybe like an apologist as well, to an extent. But I like the grittiness of DC. I think it sets them apart from Marvel, and that's kind of like my cup of tea. And nothing against.
There goes the team I was talking about.
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that looks really good. That scene, as good as it is, I don't know what's that, like 10 minutes or something.
5,
if that.
Yeah. I mean, I might get Deathstroke because he looks pretty good there, but I just not. She looks pretty full here. Okay, I changed my stance.
Mother's milk. What?
I would get this only if the suit is removable. But yeah, and if it's washable. But yeah. But yeah, no. Even if it's like if it's 150, I probably would still say no, depending if the joy's articulated.
Robert, what do you think? This could be our only chance here at a Mera, because I don't think any licensed company is ever going to touch that. So at least with Amber Heard as the actress behind the character. So
yeah,
I know you're more of the Marvel collector.
I mean,
but what do you think?
I think everything looks good except for her face. I don't think I'm with Optical on this. I don't think it looks like
I had a dollar for every time I said that
at all. Yeah. And I mean, I think everything else, like Optical said as well. The tailoring looks really good, but and I love the nightmare scene. I mean, and if I'm DLO and I got Nightmare Joker and all those guys and Nightmare Batman, then heck yeah, I'll probably buy it. But because I don't, and I'm not going for that line, this is a pass for me. But she looks solid, other than her face.
I mean, it's
a shrimp. Yeah.
It's a pass for me too. I think the rooted hair is going to be a mess. I think the likeness isn't there, but I could see though why people would want this in their collection. DLO, I get it, because I think the outfit does look pretty cool. Chest might be a little too big.
There's nothing too big, Graham.
But there's nothing wrong with that. I think the Flash looks cool. I think that's more of something that interests me. Obviously, this is the Hot Toys Batman probably behind here. It would be cool to be able to assemble this team, but I think this is also like DLO said, this is probably your only opportunity to be able to do it. So the fact that you already have the Joker, you kind of see him here.
Kind of see Cyborg there too.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, very good. But I just not for me. Again, I've just started dabbling in third party, so it's got to be something that really like piques my interest. Like the Edward Scissorhands kind of blew me away. The Wonka looks pretty good. The Prankster, is something that I think I want to get, but I'm not just going to settle on any old figure. So for me, I got to see the likeness, and likeness is subjective, but I don't see it. So I think for me, it would be a pass for that reason as well. But yeah, I don't think she'll be too expensive. So I think if you want to take a chance and just add her, pre-order it, then I think you'd be fine doing that. So any other thoughts on the figure?
I think I'm going to get it, and then I'm going to send you lots of pictures, and you're going to regret not getting it. That's what I think.
All right.
There
I
you
don't.
go.
Yeah. Okay.
Send me pictures too.
No, I won't send you anything. You're a sick man, Brick Artemis.
All right. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up here. It was fun hanging out with you, you gentlemen. DLO, thank you so much for being here as always. Brick, I'm glad that your internet held up
to work.
for this show, and Optical, thank you for accepting the invite and just bringing some veteranism to the show as well. We have DLO obviously, but it's also good to get another guy in here because obviously Brick and I are the rookies in here, so I'm sure DLO likes not being the only one that knows what he's talking about.
Feels good. It's nice.
Let me just check in with the chat one more time before we kind of make our way out of here. Let's see. 1-6 Shooter says regarding the Harry Potter, they're not making mass quantities, and there are these are for the people who collect customs and people who want this quality but don't want the custom route. X-Man says, I think superhero fatigue only happens for those who aren't true superhero fans, us true believers
Shots
who are
fired.
in, not fair weather. We're down when everyone else is hating on the IP. All right. No, I kind of can see that. That's fine. Yeah. That's things that they don't sell, I think, regarding the
one-offs.
The one-offs, the miscellaneous figures, yeah. So oh, hey, we got a Brian Wong is in the house. What is going on, my friend? Still got to get him on a show as well. But Mr. Maju Case himself gracing us with his presence. Brian, do us a favor, go back and rewatch this. It's a good show. So we're just about to kind of head out here. But yeah, Jazzy says good talk, guys. So DLO, anything going on in your neck of the woods? You collecting anything? Got anything coming in? Doing anything on YouTube? What's going on with you?
Yeah, too much money being spent. Let's see. I'm going backwards because I don't listen to my own advice. And I picked up Civil War Hawkeye. I want my definitive versions of characters. That's kind of where I am right now with curating my collection. Like, I don't do multiple figures unless it's Batman or something like that, like you guys know. But for Marvel, I really want that, like, that ultimate end game style, like, display. So I have the Ronin Deluxe, and it's a great figure, but it's just, to me, it doesn't scream Hawkeye as much as the Civil War does. So I have that one coming in tomorrow. I also, in anticipation of the DeLorean eventually being available. What's going on, Sideshow? Get your act together. But I picked up a Doc Brown on the low. It was a pretty good deal. So that should be coming in shortly. And yeah, I've just been spending too much money. I got to stop.
Yeah.
These are good talks. It reminds me I spend too much money.
We honestly need like a stream where it's like a therapy session. Like we all just like, we go around, we're like, my name is, and I bought this week, and I couldn't put my kids through
Hi,
softball.
Jetty.
Honestly, Jetty, it's the same story with you every week. Come on. No, that'd be funny though. Like, we just tell stories about like how we just screw up with collecting. and then Optical can just judge us.
Yeah. Just,
Kick my head, walking out the door. Just like, she bought that Amber Heard again. It's just-
Brick, my man, you I know you're getting ready to move into your new place, so
Oh.
I'm gonna miss the wood paneling, but
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Looks
what's
great.
going on in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, looking forward to finally moving into the new house, get my studio together, and just trying to get content out there for the channel. But it's really hard being out here at the cabin, long travels from work back to here, so don't really have all the time. And yeah, trying to keep up with not only Hot Toys but Lego. So it's I'm gonna
You're a
go
madman.
through a divorce
A
very
true
soon,
cross.
and yeah, we'll see what happens after that. But yeah,
Mhm.
thanks for having me on. It's been fun. Well,
hope you get the house, Brick.
yeah, before I buy too many Hot Toys, right?
That's a true cross to bear. You know, two of
Oh,
these
yeah.
hobbies that you're
I got a
in the middle of,
driveway to
so.
pay for and back patio. Man,
Yeah, Brian. I know Brian's he's a Lego fan. I know I've seen some videos of
let's
him
go.
with. He's
All
got
right.
some in his Modular cases, so yeah, he can relate. He can
Yeah.
respect. Optical, again, thank you for joining us tonight. Always a blast. Just again talking with you and getting your insight on some of this stuff. So yeah, what's going on? I know you got some new videos already out, but if you want to tell the people about it, and then we can tell these fine people to go subscribe to all your channels as well.
Oh, thanks, man. Oh, thanks for having me out. It's been fun. I haven't streamed in a while. I don't know why. I just hate people, I guess.
I can relate. See, like I'm not the only one, guys.
Yeah, it'll be like people again. Gonna be solitary here, but yeah, no. A few things. I got mostly Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings, and this is what I'm talking about. I love Lord of the Rings. So I could care less if they don't look good to other people. It looks good to me. So I got Smeagol again coming up, Elvin Archer, I think Gandalf the White, and a few other stuff. But yeah, just keep an eye on that. If you're
Awesome.
into Lord of the Rings, if not, that'll get probably like 25 views. So
That's not what it's about, though, right?
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, yeah. Please go and subscribe to all these awesome guys' channels, IG as well. You can find that in the description below. Thank you guys in the chat for, again, making this stream what it is and just giving us your opinions, your insight, and your conversation. And we'll be back here on Wednesday for Wolfpack Wednesday with DLO, Brick, and then 16 Fix is going to be our special guest, Marco. Great guy. Looking forward to streaming with him as well. So make sure you guys tune into that. That is 9:30 Eastern time. And yeah, until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon. Peace, guys.